787.
787 departure frequency 95 will be 1257.
257, thanks.
That's kind of what he was talking about, is either you can pick one and sacrifice the other one. Mm-hmm. And if you pick one, you have to pick one. His analogy was great. His analogy was that there's a mall, and this mall is just opening up, and you get this gift card, and you can buy anything in the mall. You can buy one thing in the mall, anything in the mall you want. And so they give you this gift card, and you start going through the mall, and you're like, ooh, I could have that. I could have that. Ooh, maybe some of that. Maybe that. Maybe that. Maybe that.
I'd love that.
But here's the thing. Every minute that passes, the money on your card diminishes.
Oh,
and
shit.
after 20 minutes, there's no more money.
20?
So if you wait.
You can't even walk to the other side of the mall by that time.
After 30 minutes. So if you wait, there's things that you can't buy. Right? They're just too expensive because you lost all your money. And if you wait till the end, you don't buy anything.
Yeah.
So that was a metaphor for a young person coming up into the world and trying to pick his or her path. You have all this potential. You could be whatever you want. And in a way, like if you work hard enough, and I kind of believe that, you know, I don't know if everyone can be a rocket scientist, you know, but maybe if you really worked hard enough and you made the right sacrifices, maybe you could be.
You got to want it.
Maybe you could. If you really wanted it, maybe you could be.
Yeah.
It helps to have the talent. It helps to have the intelligence.
It does. But everybody could do it.
Maybe.
I think most people could do it.
30%
of people could do it.
Maybe less. I don't know. They could at least attempt it, right?
Yeah.
And maybe work as an assistant of a rocket scientist, or whatever. But the point is that young people go out and they have all these potential, they have all this possibility. And what's one that costs a lot, but after a while you can't afford it? Athletics. You're a young person, you have this body, maybe you even have a little bit of skill towards an athletic profession.
Right.
But if you do not pursue it 100% and give it everything you do and risk injury and all that kind of crap, it ain't going to happen. You have to give it up. And that's one thing you said earlier is that you gave up the sport. You said, no, I'm done. I feel like I'm done. I did the same thing with football. After the Shrine Bowl, I had a choice. Like, am I going to keep playing? I had Coffeyville kind of asking about me, like these JUCOs. I could keep lifting. I could keep playing. I was like, no, I think this is where I'm going to call it. You know, I'm good.
Yeah.
I think I'm done. I'm going to pursue other things.
Do you regret it?
No.
Good.
But as you go forward, things keep getting taken from you. So you're like, oh, I could be a doctor. And it's like, well, how long does a doctor take? And how much time and energy does becoming a doctor
And how
take?
much time do you want to spend?
Exactly. So then you have to keep. So basically, the conversation was, you have to ask yourself, what do you value? And then whatever you value will point you kind of in the direction of what you want to do. And you have to ask the questions, because I told Adam, I was like, I'm thinking about being a doctor like my dad. He's like, do you like to work on sick people? I was like, well, not really. He's like, well, you probably don't want to be a doctor.
Yeah.
You know? And that's kind of where it fell back into the spiraling of your questions.
Yeah.
Because one time we talked about marriage, and he's like, when? And I said, I was very anti-marriage. I didn't want to get married, all that kind of stuff. And he goes, when did you formulate that idea? And I was like, I was probably like 4 or 5 years old. And he's like, so you are operating with a 4 or 5 year old mindset of what marriage is. Do you think that is accurate? And it was just like, no, not accurate. Why don't you update your worldview on marriage?
Yeah.
To a 25-year-old, to a 30-year-old, to a 60-year-old.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. But that goes across everything.
Yeah.
So you could just ask yourself, what sort of worldviews, what sort of beliefs are you holding that are outdated, that you derived, that you installed on your operating system of your mind, personality, that are outdated.
Yeah.
They don't even suit you anymore. They might have suit you when you're 5 fucking years old. Maybe when you're 10 or 15, or maybe even when you were 20. But now you have to revisit them and say, nope, this is not right. I update my worldview.
Yeah.
You
have to. You have to. I know. Sorry. When you say update, I know a fucking graphic designer that won't even update their Adobe since, you want to know when? Since when? Maybe like 2009.
Wow.
Because he's like, it does the same. I'm not going to tell you who it is. It does the same thing. I could do just as good. Might take me a little longer, but I'm fine. Have you seen his fucking work?
Is it bad?
Fucking work is shit. Because he won't even update his own shit.
Well,
because he thinks he's good enough. Because at that time he probably was good enough.
There you go.
So you just got to keep updating and updating and updating, like everything.
Yeah.
like everything else.
Totally.
I have to update every day.
It's almost like the analogy of the high school superstar
Yeah.
that doesn't want to change because
Yeah.
at one time they had it all figured out.
Yeah.
They were super popular.
Yeah.
They were well achieved.
Yep.
They had great grades. They were
Yeah.
athletic. Blah 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 blah. Right. Whatever.
Why did you think I didn't want to leave high school?
Well, I was the same way.
Yeah.
The same way. It was
I
a
was
very
doing amazing there.
right. But it's meaningless.
It's unrealistic.
Totally meaningless.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's meaningless the day you graduate.
It's meaningless while you're there.
Yeah.
Totally.
It didn't feel it.
Did not feel that way, but it's true. Everything you achieved
Don't
in high
take that
school,
away.
everything you achieved in high school, what value does it have? Nothing.
It was just a fun
Were you
time in
homecoming
life.
queen? Yeah. Okay, so big deal.
Twice.
Big deal. Like you see what the weight of value that holds. Like it's cool that you enjoyed it, right?
It was
I guess
awesome.
I guess that's the only thing that kind of comes from it is just joy.
Yeah.
Joy for that moment.
Great joy.
Besides that, it has no fucking
No,
value. It's
I
just
agree.
like you don't say that in a job interview. I was homecoming twice.
queen twice.
And they go-
Home queen.
They go,
Homecoming queen.
okay, good for you. Do you know Python? Or whatever,
No.
Or do you know Illustrator? They don't ask those kind of questions.
Yes.
So that to me,
No.
so how much of college actually mattered,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little bit more, but not much. And then you ask yourself, how much does real life really matter? And then
I
you
don't know.
think,
Wait. Hold on.
much.
Back to the college. I think it depends. I wouldn't have my LimeLight job without my connections.
well, I didn't say it was totally meaningless. I said it's less meaningless than college, or less meaningless than high school, but it's still pretty meaningless.
It depends. I think it depends. You can't be a doctor and it can't be meaningless.
I'm not really talking about what you learned so much as kind of what happened.
But that is part of college.
I'm just talking about people get so ingrained in their world.
Wrapped up in it.
Yeah. And it's like, what does that matter? Such
I
and
don't
such
know.
broke up with you. Who gives a shit?
I disagree with that because there's a lot of, and maybe this is an outsider's perspective because I wasn't truly involved into college as much. I literally went to college and came home. Went to college, came home. Went to college. And I never really made any true friends. But the people that I do see that have friends, they're long-lasting friends. And they're still friends with each other. And they have they reminisce on it. But they also both have jobs from it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think college, I'm not saying that it's fucking expensive and it can be outdated. Like, I think that, but I also see a lot of benefit from it. So I don't want to totally rule that out as like this from a ratio from high school to college to life.
Mm-hmm.
Meaningless isn't like right here. I feel like the meaningless of college is way less or whatever that you were saying. I feel like there's a lot more from it. We just did not live it. We did not live a college life. We didn't. We lived a high school college life. If that's what we want to call it. We went to school and we came home.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we did. And then went to work. So, I don't know. That's my thought on that.
Well, I mean, I didn't mean to say that college is totally meaningless. I'm just
I
saying
know.
large parts of it were just like, why did I worry about that? That
Meaningless
quiz
is
that I
just a
bombed.
strong
Oh my
word.
God, I lost that quiz. I bombed that quiz. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? Nobody
I
cares.
totally bombed my senior project.
Yeah, nobody cares.
And yeah, look at me now.
Nobody cares. But I also say that my college experience, I studied biology and I don't do anything with biology. I don't do anything with science.
See, that's why you feel it's more meaningless than.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
It truly wasn't a meaningless
right.
thing. It was a meaningless pursuit for me. So then I say, oh, that fucking college was meaningless. But if I was doing something that would have been built off of biology
Yeah.
and would have got me into a science job, well, then it wouldn't have been meaningless. But because of my experience, I kind of chalk it up to be a little bit like, why did I do that? That did nothing for me besides, I don't know. It did some spiritual things, but,
I feel
career-wise, I don't think it did much.
Yeah. No, it didn't because that's not your career path.
No.
My career path, it was meaningful. I made a lot of connections. I don't even want to call them connections because I love my advisor and some of my professors and stuff like that from college, and I have still like good friends from college, but I don't know. I feel like that was that is what I needed. That's how I learn. Everybody learns differently. And I learned the best from going to school, even though I hate it. I hated school.
Well, you've always
hated school, but that's how I learned the best.
Right.
SciFi Friends.